Can you
That's
see
why I
yourself?
wanted to wear my hat.
Can you see that, Bobby?
Is it, you think the hat will make me look a little better?
I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this on.
Oh, no.
No, it is smooth.
Waiting on the ladies. This will be great. Yeah, do some intro for real.
For real, ain't
Do what?
You guys just being ladies. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're looking at the camera and saying we're ready?
Yeah, that's all. This is gonna go up. You guys getting your hair done. This all going.
No,
in.
it's not.
We're going.
No,
You'll see it.
don't do us like that.
You look good. You guys are beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
All right, here we go. Welcome. We're back after another layoff hiatus.
Long time.
Yes, sir. 501 Witty podcast. I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do it. No cursing, guys. One time only. This is not gonna be a regular thing. On behalf of my good friend here, and of course, her good co-worker, friend, associate, I'm not gonna curse. I am your humble, and I guess blessed and highly favored as well. Hey, God taking care of all of us. If those who don't believe, you should believe in something. Clyde wants to say the third, the Phoenix. What's up?
It's my turn now.
Nah, I'm happy to be here, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, as you guys know, Bobby, aka the Photo Mag, aka your favorite big boy on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm
I'm about to start my modeling page back up, so y'all will just follow me on that.
So do you model?
Yeah, just
Okay, cool.
a smidget. But I'm about to start back into it like full force. But I also got my photography page on Instagram at the Photo Mag. Follow me on there. Something happened to my Facebook, bro.
By Luring Creations?
I don't know what
I
happened.
be trying to like tag you.
I know I be
I'm
seeing
like,
it.
man,
Like
I even try, somebody asked me to retire. I said, I can't tag him in that.
I think Mark Zuck, how do you say his name?
It's in the metaverse. It's
Yeah,
lost.
he did something with my stuff, man.
Well, we'll get it back. But hey,
I can't even log in.
hit him up on this actual personal, serious inquiries only.
Yeah.
No professional stuff.
Hit me on my Facebook page, Bobby Tim.
Cheap stuff. I'm doing good already.
I know, right?
I'm proud
Proud.
of you.
Thank you, ladies.
I'm proud of you.
But yeah,
It's not even about us though.
it ain't. It's about these ladies right here and what they got to bring to the table today.
Whoever wants to go first, it doesn't matter. Tell the people who you are, and then what you do.
Okay. So my name is Meredith Irby. I am a co-owner and the CEO of A Better You Therapeutic Solutions. We are a CARF accredited licensed behavioral health agency located in downtown Little Rock.
I am Andrea Bynum, co-owner, therapist, A Better You Therapeutic Solutions.
Already.
Alright.
Already.
So,
Thanks for being here.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, look at it. Oh.
Yeah, innocent and
Jackson
innocent.
I seen. So what made you ladies want to get into this type of profession?
I think it was a journey, I would say. Just wanting to help people, naturally wanting to help people. I started off, my bachelor's is in addiction studies, and since I graduated, when I graduated from UCA.
All right, Bear.
There you go, Bear. Do it like a big bear. I went into my first job was helping teens, and I loved it, loved everything about it, and I just felt like there was more to do. I wanted to do more. I felt like more was my calling. I didn't know exactly what, but I just knew it was more I should be doing. Fast forward, worked an overnight position, obtained my master's in social work in 2014 from UALR. Worked various jobs, still feel like there was more. I need to be doing more, I need to be doing more.
I love that part.
It's more. Not saying that I wasn't satisfied at any jobs, but I just felt like there was more of me to give and more of me to do. We all worked at, there's another co-owner, Chikuma AK. We all worked at the VA, and Robert Irby, he's a our partner as well, we're all at the VA, and we felt like the VA was what I like to call the meeting spot. And for all of us to come together collectively. Now, we've all known each other from grad school. So, but I feel like that was the time. And from there, we were all on our own journey of like, this is what I want to do. This is my passion. This is my passion. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, let's put our passions together and do more, create more, and there you have a better you. So that's my take on it. That's my personal journey.
All right, Ms. Meredith.
So my journey was, I guess, kind of similar. Just always feeling like there was more I wanted to do.
More. I'm gonna write that down.
More.
Revisit that.
More. So I started off as a biology major because I was gonna be a doctor. Like, I was always gonna be a doctor. Always, like pediatrician. Like, hands down since I was a kid. Yeah. Biology, chemistry specifically is not my strong suit. It's not for me, and that's okay.
So forget that periodic table and stuff, huh?
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't the periodic table. It was like the other stuff, the more complicated stuff. It's just not for me, and that's okay. And so social work kind of fell into my lap in my junior year, actually. And so when I found out about it, when I heard about it, learned about it, read about it, I was like, that's what I need to be doing. That's more up my alley. Like, I know I need to be doing something more. And so just looking at social work, looking at the options, the paths that I could take, I said I want to have a private practice one day. Like, I said that early on. But then my path kind of took me in other directions. So fast forward 2012 to grad school, go to grad school at Euler. Trojans. But I graduated undergrad from U of A, go Hogs. Fast forward though to grad school, and I actually did the management and community practice track. So I did not do the clinical track. At that point, I knew that I like doing therapy, I enjoy it, or that it was something I wanted to do, but I also wanted to be in management. I wanted to be in administration and work on things from the top down. And so, finished grad school, had different jobs, worked at agencies where I saw they could do more, where I wanted to do more, but then I was restricted in what I could do. Agencies where I really, really wanted to make a change. And so ended up at the VA, the meeting spot. And, from there, then COVID hit. COVID was really like a springing pad for us. Just because of everything that was going on, and being in the positions that we were in, like, there was no quarantine, there was no work from home, there was like frontline, get out there, double mask up and spray down with Lysol, like, and so that's what we did, but always feeling like there was more. There was always more. And so fast forward to 2019, and that was when more kind of became a plan. Yeah. And we sat down and formulated it, and March 6th, we put it on paper electronically. Yes, sir. 2019, yeah. March 6th is when we established, and then
the anniversary coming up pretty soon then.
We do. We do, yeah.
And then March of 2020 was when we became like an actual behavioral health agency, through the state of Arkansas. So
look at you, recognition, legit.
Yeah, so we are.
Something was tugging at their spirits, like
it was.
I mean, really.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on that here shortly about more because I had to tie in later on.
Okay.
Before we go too far, ladies, let people know how they can reach out to you as far as contact information real quick. We'll do it again on the back end as well. Let the people know.
Okay. Well, our office number is 501-412-5327. You can also visit our website at www.abetteryouarkansas.com.
And everything they just said will be in the description box below, guys. And of course, you can, please share. If you need the help, get the help you need. These ladies are professionals. They'll take care of you and point you in the right direction. And if they don't have the answer, trust they'll find the information that you need and get right back to you.
And we like to pride ourselves on, like, we're not your traditional, like, you're not going into, like, your traditional therapy setting. So I know I have some clients that come in first time, have never gone to therapy, and they're just like, oh, that wasn't bad. And I was like, what are you expecting?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, oh, I was expecting you to, you know, just dissect me and tell me this and tell me to do this. And I'm like, no, that's not how therapy works, you know. So we're not super flashy. We're not, you know, like, we're not in this box.
Yeah.
You know,
we're down to earth.
Very down to earth. Thank you.
We're real people.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we're,
it.
we're down to earth.
Uh-huh.
Like, what you see is exactly what you get from us. And
Okay.
yeah.
So you kind of touched on you getting there. So let's say, like you said, someone's brand new to this. What's the process? Like once they make that phone call, let the people know, like, just on the surface level, what's the next steps in that particular, as they become a client or a regular person? What happens?
Well, it depends. If you have private insurance, which would be like your Blue Cross, United Healthcare, versus Medicaid. Medicaid, you do have to have a referral from your PCP, your primary care physician. We do have to have that on file before we can, you know, start anything.
Okay.
Once that referral is received, or either the client can contact the office and say, hey, I need help, or the PCP can fax over a referral and say, hey, I have this client in my office, are you willing to see him? So whoever makes contact first, so let's say the referral is faxed over, we'll contact the client within 48 hours once the referral is received to schedule an intake. We'll do screening, nothing major, just basically, you know, why do you think you need therapy? Why does your primary care physician think you need therapy? And set up get you connected to a therapist, a licensed therapist, and they'll contact you and schedule an intake. The intake, we block off, I tell my clients to block off at least 2 hours. It usually doesn't take that long. And this one will ask, you know, again, why do you, elaborate on why you think you need therapy, what's going on with you, how long have these problems persisted? Have you ever had therapy in the past? If so, what worked, what didn't? Let's talk about a little bit about your childhood. We're not going to dissect or anything like that. Just getting information so we can know how to further help you.
Gotcha. You want to add anything to that, Meredith?
I mean, she summed it all up, really, perfectly.
So if you don't have, Medicaid, you know, usually you get a call, hey, I need therapy. Okay, well, do the same thing, but, you know, it's just minus the PCP referral. That's all.
Yeah.
So now that the person is a client, let's go into, like, you know, just the importance of just having that person that you need to speak to independently. Because, like I said, for example, you can have a best friend, you can have a spouse, they can be a little biased. Or some people may not give the right information because they may come at a different angle at certain things. Talk to people about just the importance and why it's okay just to have just a therapy in general.
I would say, and I know this, I've heard this before, so let me ask you this. Why wouldn't you go see your primary care physician on a regular?
And so that can be stubbornness.
Fear.
That's another thing too. Yeah, because you may think, I'm good, you know, I'll deal with the problem. Because a lot of people deal with their own problems internally and, you know, hold it in. And sometimes life can kind of distract you too. Like, I don't got time for that stuff. You know what? In life, it is what it is. You know, God, you know, whatever the case may be. That's why I would say, you know, I would probably, or someone like me would probably not go seek therapy.
Right. So if you had an ongoing problem, so let's say you had you cut yourself and you got infected,
Mm-hmm.
and you saw this cut on your arm just like grow into something nasty and funky,
Mm-hmm.
would you let it sit there, or even after you've like, okay, I'm gonna do these home remedies, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, nothing worked, would you continue to let it sit there and fester, or would you get help?
The hope would be to get help, go to the doctor, get, even just a home, like a down the street clinic or whatever, just get some quick stuff to get looked at. That's the hope.
That's the hope. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
The cut on your arm, is same thing, like, okay, you won't let it sit there and fester and get nasty and get funky and, let all this stuff build up, because infection sets in, then you're looking at, instead of just this little small cut on your arm,
Possible amputation.
possible amputation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the same thing with mental health. There's an issue, you go get help. Now, sometimes you may not know that you have an issue.
Correct.
I don't want to say issue, but sometimes you may not know you need help. And we have clients come to us and say, hey, clients of ours, hey, my sister or my cousin or my friend is experiencing this. They don't know it. How do I get them, to what language do I use to get them to come to you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, hey, just give us a call. We'll work on that. We just need you to just let the professionals help you.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't fester and grow into something, and it be something huge down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, that was a really good analogy that you used. I agree with that. It's a lot of people go to the doctor quickly. Some people not so much. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And even when you might not really feel like things are bad, maybe you've got some type of a stressor in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like a death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people are dealing with that right now. Grief is huge. Or some other type of, trauma or incident or whatever. Even just we have people who call and they're like, hey, I've had this happen, or my kids have had this happen in their lives, and so I just want to be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to talk to somebody just to make sure there's not anything going on, just to make sure that we get ahead of any issues that might come up. So we get a lot of that also. And then I think because of the pandemic, and I hate to say come see us because of the pandemic, like don't come see us just because of the pandemic, come see us period, just because of like general practice, just life practices. But because of the pandemic, people are experiencing, of course, more stress right now. People are experiencing more grief. People are lonely.
Especially facing actual realities, because one thing the pandemic has done, let's say you're busy, you just have an ongoing schedule, or you just have ways you can get away from certain things that you need to address. With the pandemic, you had to face certain demons, you had to face certain, like you said, stressors, or things just in your face now, because I'm at home living with this person, or with children, or even just myself. Like now I have nothing but at the house, I'm in my thoughts. So yes, that's why the pandemic definitely put emphasis on what's going on with people internally and mentally.
Oh yeah, and I've been in and out of quarantine for the last month.
right.
Now, when we were at the VA, I was like, oh man, I wish I could quarantine. Yeah, in and out of quarantine for the last month. Still working virtually from home. My whole family has been in and out of quarantine for the last month. And so that has been very stressful for me. Like, I told my husband I need to go sit in a room by myself for 24 hours. Like, I'm gonna go to a hotel, I'm gonna leave y'all. Just give me peace.
Gotcha.
I get it. I just did that for like 4 weeks. But there are people who were quarantined for much longer. And so I don't know if y'all keep up with like crazy news like I do, but there were a lot of stories and reports of people going crazy on their families during the pandemic.
No, we talked a little bit off camera. Like I said, even before this, the actual numbers was like, let's say for veterans, 21 suicides a day.
Right.
That's not even encompassing just suicide in general overall.
Exactly.
But like I was speaking to her off camera, it's like with the pandemic, you had no other choice but to deal with whatever you were dealing with. And, you know, domestic abuse went up. Unfortunately, you have people in bad situations as far as, you know, molestations, things of that nature. Where people just can't get away from certain dangers.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, you know, it just, like I said, crazy.
Okay, sorry guys about the technical difficulties. We're back with Andrea and if I say Amanda, I'm sorry. Meredith.
Sorry.
She's like Amanda.
No.
I'm used to being called Amanda though.
Really?
Really?
People can mess up some names.
Meredith?
A simple name.
Meredith,
Especially our people.
Yeah.
We can
Our
mess up
people.
some-
Yeah, our people.
We can mess up some names.
You can't.
We can. So,
Well, we'll go to Andrea.
Yeah, we're going back to Andrea this time.
So, Andrea, what made you want to become a therapist?
Well, Clyde, it was, you know, years of working with teenagers. I loved it. And other jobs as well, like I said before in the past, previously. I just felt like it was maybe a calling, something that like I needed to do. I enjoy connecting people with resources. I enjoy listening. I enjoy when clients get like the aha moments, like, oh, I really get it, you know, right now. It's very rewarding. So what made me, I know I had a conversation with my mom when I got accepted in the School of Social Work.
Shout out to Mama Nina. Love you, Mama.
And she always has a real simple way of putting things into perspective. And she's just like, well, since you were little, you've always enjoyed helping people. You've always enjoyed listening. You're a problem solver, etc. So she was just like, be a therapist, be a counselor. I don't know. And I was like, oh, okay. It's just simple. And so I was like, okay. And so from then, and other people would come to me because they say I listen and don't judge. And I think that's something that our clients are kind of like reserved about. Like, am I going to be judged? No, this is a safe space. What goes on in this room stays in this room.
All right, Vegas.
Anyway, so I think that's, I'm pretty approachable, I feel like. So it's just I don't know, I guess it's a calling.
Yeah.
Maybe.
God put you here for a reason.
He did.
That's your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Meredith, what made you become a therapist? Why didn't you go there and do extra?
Therapist. It was a calling. I think it was the purpose put on my life. I was saying before, my path to being a therapist wasn't really straight. It was kind of, zigzag and windy. Because I said early on that I wanted to have a private practice, but then life happens, and so other opportunities came up along the way. And one thing I've always felt was really important is to get as much experience, as much diverse experience as I can. And so I went on different tracks. I became an oncology social worker. I've worked with kids. I've worked with homeless, street homeless people, homeless veterans. I've just, it's been a windy road. And so, even when I finished grad school, once I got to grad school and was introduced to MCP, Management and Community Practice track, I love this. I love the clinical too, but MCP, that was my thing, And so then when I finished school, a lot of times in Arkansas especially, I don't know so much about other places, but when you finish school with a degree in social work or counseling, there are agencies that many people end up working at. Like you don't have a whole lot of options. You become an outpatient therapist usually a lot of times. And so that was where I was first really introduced to therapy. And in doing that, like I said, I talked about those agencies. There were things I saw that I wanted to change, things that I saw I wanted to make a difference in. Even just how the organization was run as a whole, how the employees were treated, from how the employees were treated and compensated, trickling all the way down to how the clients were treated. And so I wanted to make changes in the things that I was seeing. And just being at the VA and we all came together and circumstances were just right. And I feel like it's just always been a calling on my life. So I think opportunities came to me that were meant for me. And I really can't put it any other way. I think the opportunities that were meant for me have always come to me. And I wake up every day and I ask God to use me, and that's all I can. That's all I can do,
So before we go to some more deeper topics or just questions, for anyone at home that's watching or whenever they may watch this, any advice to anyone who's about to get into this field that they need to look forward to, what's the work that goes into it? Like you want to kind of give them some quick guidance in that regard, if any?
I would say that it's not easy, but I don't want to say that to deter you from your path. It is very, it's very rewarding. I would just say stay focused. Learn all you can. You're gonna have like lots of writing, lots of reading, lots of everything. But at the end of your journey, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do under the umbrella of social work. Like I went the therapy route. Meredith went to management side. But Meredith, when she graduated, she was a therapist. But now she's doing more management. So and therapy.
Yeah.
So I would say just stay focused. Believe in yourself. It's not an easy journey, but it is very rewarding, and you'll be very glad that you did it.
All right. Meredith, want to add anything to that?
For anyone, like I love all of my counselor friends, but for anyone who is on the fence between counseling and social work, I just always very strongly encourage social work. Because it opens up so many more doors, so many more opportunities. With counseling, you have counseling. And you can do different types of counseling, different types of therapies and things like that. But with social work, you have more options. Even the tracks in the programs, you have a clinical and a management track. There's just so many different types of social work. Oncology social work, financial social work, sports social work, which I didn't really realize was a thing. Yeah, but there are just a lot of different options out there. So I, one, encourage social work. Two, I encourage people to realize, maybe do your own work, do your own work as you go through the process of grad school, whether it's for social work or counseling. But as you're on the journey to becoming a therapist, I think it's important to do your own work and doing some, just looking at yourself and, looking at your own possible traumas or just things that you've dealt with in your life, because the process itself can be triggering. And so it's just important to keep that in mind and to remember that while you're on this journey to help other people take care of their mental health, you have to take care of your own. You can't help anybody if you don't, help yourself first. And that's in anything.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
You got anything for me, Bob, before I go to the next question?
No, sir, go ahead.
Now, just transition to the next, as far as therapy, the stigma, therapy, and especially in the black community.
Okay.
How does one, or what are your thoughts on just getting over that particular hump? Like, as far as like, let's say me personally, not even necessarily a black thing, but you kind of talk to the black community. Some people think, you going to a therapist? What's wrong with you? Like, oh, wow, you going to tell this stranger your business? Or they don't know you. Or whatever the case may be, what are your suggestions? Like, what are your overall thoughts in regards just to the stigma of just having a therapist or being in therapy? Especially black people. They're scared to get help in that regard.
Well, so yeah, of course, traditionally there is that stigma. I do see, especially in the last few years, especially since the pandemic, but even before that, in the last several years, more of a push to destigmatize mental health treatment and just mental health in general. I see that happening. I see more people being open to it. And open to receiving treatment for the first time. I have had tons of people come in and say, this is my first time. I've always been like, we don't do therapy. I hear, we don't do therapy. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come to us, we're not just black therapists, but a lot of people do come to us because of that. And so they feel more comfortable talking to somebody who looks like them for the first time. But another thing I hear a lot of from those people who are coming in for the first time is, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, oh, this is cool. And so then from there, sharing with other people. I love my therapist. Therapy isn't bad. I just go in there and sit on the sofa and talk, or lay on the sofa and talk, and whatever. And so I think just educating people is really important. Doing things like this, where we're out here, getting our faces out here, letting people see us. I think it's important that we're not like your traditional agencies. We are one of the first black-owned licensed behavioral health agencies in the state.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I don't know for sure, but I would be willing to bet money that we're probably the youngest owners in the state.
Both being 21 years old and stuff.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. Yes. And so I think that makes a difference too, because people feel like they can relate to us more. So yeah, I just normalizing it in general though is something that we try to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I was reading something a couple of days ago about why African Americans don't seek treatment, and Meredith touched on everything. Is you don't see people like you. So there's a lot of, especially with the way the world is today, racism, systemic racism. We're kind of hesitant to go and talk to someone that doesn't look like us. The fear is, okay, I'm going to be judged. They may not understand. And even further than that, the practices that we do are designed for they're not designed for your black population. So, the theories and the research and the things that we learn in social work, in grad school, they're not, black or African American driven, research based, ideas or theology. So with that, it's just kind of like, okay, we're learning kind of how to practice in I'm not gonna say a box, but you kind of put yourself in there. Because we're learning how to treat the needs of the majority of the population, which is not African American. So when you come to a black owned or someone that looks like you, a minority therapist, we have our tools that we've learned from life itself And we've learned how to take our education, take our personal knowledge, take, what's going on with our client, and structure therapy accordingly.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, it's just, how can, this person who doesn't understand, what I'm going through, I feel like they can't understand what I'm going through. They can't reach out to me, so I'm just going to keep it inside.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think a part of us, we wanted to do, part of the reason why we wanted to open up our own agencies to help people that look like us, because we know it's scary,
Mm-hmm. So before we go to the last question, a lot of people do seek therapy. They start the process. They start to go through it. Now, sometimes people can get locked into therapy forever. Now, I would think there should be a graduation process as far as the sense where you have the tools, you have the particular clients, and of course the sessions. Hopefully you're utilizing the resources and the tools that they're giving you to get better.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? Because some people, like I said, get locked in. There's really, what's the time period you think they should be like, you know what? We've been doing it for 6 months, a year, 2 years. We should have seen some kind of progress. What are your thoughts on that?
I personally don't like to give you a timeline.
Okay.
So let's say, Clyde, you come to me and you with issues of anxiety or depression,
Mm-hmm.
which is very common. I'm not going to tell you, hey, in 6 months you should be at this point. I don't, because therapy is ongoing.
Yes.
So let's say your presenting problem that you came with was, something related to job loss. Okay, well, in 6 months, if you found a job, I don't want you to think, okay, my issue is job loss, I found a job, I should be better. Okay, well, now you're at a job, there could be some more issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lock you into like this time frame of like, hey, 6 months, if you don't have your stuff together, then we're going to graduate you from therapy. That's not, it's continuous.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I do have clients that have been with me for 2-3 years because life happens. And as life happens, you're going to need different tools. Now, you can build on the tools that you've already received previously, but life happens. Things come up, and, things may be going well for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, 2 months later, something else comes up. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I can't talk to my therapist anymore because I was given a time frame or,
Correct.
So.
I mean, that would also kind of depend on the situation too, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as like what the person dealing with.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that? Mary?
Yeah, because sometimes like some insurances will only pay for a certain, like
Right.
for EAPs or employee assistance programs, we usually only pay for between like 5 and 8 sessions. It just kind of depends on what's going on. And so sometimes some situations, even the client will come and say, hey, I just want to come and address this. And usually when that happens, those are usually EAP clients that want to come for a shorter time period. And so when that happens, we do have, solution-focused brief therapy models that we can use to work with them on more condensed, let's figure out what's going on, let's address these issues, and then get you on out.
Right.
So that we do have that. We can, do that. But yeah, like Andrea said, life happens. And so a lot of times people just want to have that support and know that that support is there for them. They might be prompted to come initially because of job loss or whatever, and then realize other issues come up.
Correct.
And trauma is huge,
Yep.
So many people have so many different types of trauma. So a lot of times they might come for that initial job loss issue that they want to address, but then start getting into trauma or getting into childhood stuff. So
Yep.
everybody's different.
All
It's
right.
all individualized.
Last question before we get out of here. Now, granted, you guys have been in the field for quite some time, and things have come out from the surface in regards to like people like the stigmas have went away, people getting therapy and getting help that they needed more often. Do you guys see like at this particular point of your profession great results? Like, I'm not saying you professionally you one-on-one with your client, but just overall, because I'm pretty sure you have conversations with people in the same field as you across the board. Do you see results? Do you see it like, all right, we're making strides in the right direction, or like it's going to be a problem forever? Like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. Like, what are you guys' thoughts in regards to where we're at as a societal level? If any thoughts on it.
I think we're making progress. I think even the simple fact that the issue of mental health is becoming destigmatized, like across the board, nationally, internationally, that right there signifies that there's progress. Mental health in kids' mental health right now has been declared a national emergency. That's progress right there, you know. So, and even still, we hear it with our clients. I think seeing more people of color who are willing to try it out at least, and then realize that it's not so bad, and then sharing that, we see a lot of that. Just even since we graduated, I feel that there's been a huge shift and improvement in the way that it's viewed by society.
Anything to add?
I mean, I 100% agree. I do believe that there is progress. There is still more that we have to do, but I do feel like we are headed in the right direction.
Okay. Well, just before you got here, one last time. First of all, thanks, ladies, for coming. Real.
Thank
It's
you.
good
For
to share
having
this
us.
particular digital space with you forever, because we're locked in regardless. No matter what happens in the world, we're here together in this particular format.
Well, thanks for having us, Ty.
Tell the people one last time where they can find you and how they can contact A Better You.
We are A Better You Therapeutic Solutions. Our phone number is 501-412-5327. We can also be reached or check out our website at www.abetteryouarkansas.com.
Let
Let them know who you are again, how they can find you, brother.
I just want to touch on
Go
what
ahead.
they were talking about. Like, if anybody out there need help,
Yeah.
don't be afraid. Like, that's the first step. Just talk to somebody. Just get that mental health right. Do what you need to do.
And I'm gonna second that, no, for real, because even for those who like know what I was going through, the brother was paralyzed about 5-6 months ago. COVID messed up my spine. Hey, had to learn to walk again. And you know, there was moments. You know, I'm a pretty strong guy as far as mentally. I'm pretty driven. You know, I'm pretty much a go-getter. My military background has kept me focused and sharp. But you know, even my good friend here, 21 years we've been knowing each other. And so it's like, she even brought it to my attention, like, I said something to her. She's like, Clyde, you probably just actually depressed. And like, I thought about it. It was not really like an aha moment. It was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. So yeah, get the help you need. I'll just have that person that you can talk to and know.
That's real though, because
No.
even when Mary was saying about the pandemic, like, I even went to the doctor like maybe 3 weeks ago just for like a general checkup or whatever.
Mhm.
And they had like a new little sheet that you got to fill out as far as like, are you depressed? Are you feeling a certain type of way? Blah, blah, this, blah. And they score you on it. And then the doctor actually talks to you about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, when they start doing this? And he talked to me about it. I guess I scored some type of way on it. He was like, are you feeling depressed? I was like, sometimes. Like, I told him I think it's just due to the pandemic, though, just being locked down and confined, like, not really being able to move how I want to move. And
Yeah.
having to worry about, am I going to get sick if I go here? Or, it's a lot of stuff, but
No, it's important. And shout out to a good friend of mine who did take his life back in 2019 in May of that year, Patrick Vincent Fox. He's one of those guys that I served in the military with. He was going through some particular, he had demons or whatever, and it did get the best of him, but he's a good person, So, like, it's very important, guys. Like, take care of yourself, reach out, seek help, contact the ladies and the gentlemen that work there as well, and they'll get you on the right path, give you the right tools and resources that you need. But if you're watching this, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't know what the freak you're waiting for.
Ooh, he kind of scared me there for a second.
But no, just support. You know, we're black people doing great things for the community and for other people, man. Just support the people. The Photo Mag does great work. You know, take care of your people. Get your photos from him, and just when it comes to me, watch out for my movies that I write. It's coming. Things are coming. Things are in the works. But we thank you very much for watching. Information will be below in the description box. And I think we're good. I'm hungry. I'm ready to get my day started. Super Bowls today. I don't care who wins. The Cowboys ain't done. You know, it is what it is. Little
Cowboy Nation. Cowboy Nation.
Yeah, but I'm just happy to just be alive. It's a blessing. And once again, ladies, thanks for coming.
Thank
Please.
you.
Thank you.
Make yourself a better you out there, guys.
501-412-5327, www.abetteryouarkansas.com.